I'm Jill Menze, news editor at PhocusWire, and we're joined here today by Damian Scokin, who is CEO of Despegar. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to you, Jill.
Thank you.
Pleasure being here. Being here in person.
Being in person. It's we look much better without our Zoom screens,
exactly,
I think.
Exactly.
So let's just kind of start with talking about Despegar's recovery strategy. Where are you at with that, and what progress have you made, and where are we still kind of going?
Okay, let's perhaps talk a little bit first about the market. Overall, Latin America lags behind the US and Europe in terms of recovery. I would say that in the third quarter, the market recovery was approximately 50% of 2019 terms. Within that context, Despegar has been able to gain share and growing beyond the size of the market, but obviously with the strategy of preserving as much cash and its strong balance sheet as much as possible. So we're pretty happy within the context of a pandemic about how this is turning out.
Yeah. Well, I know there's been, bright spots in like Latin America, but then you've got Brazil on the other hand. How is that sort of balancing out, or how do you sort of look at kind of those two drastically different?
As we always say, Latin America is really far from an homogeneous region. In COVID, it was far more different. I mean, when Mexico was up, Brazil was down. When Chile picked up, then Argentina closed. Our geographic diversification helped us a lot in that context. So I would say that more recently, it's been a common trend across geographies or governments opening up. So you see Mexico, which remained pretty open across the pandemic, but suffered a kind of a relative slowdown in the third quarter. Now it's completely up again. Brazil is a bright spot now.
Oh, okay.
In all across Brazil, all states are recovering strongly. Chile, which came out of a severe lockdown and many restrictive measures, is now open. So I would say that we're leaving behind a very difficult time with countries at very, very different stages, but now it's homogeneously picking up.
Yeah. Are there any regions in particular that you're sort of looking at more to another, especially as some are coming back, or you mentioned Brazil's coming back now? So how does your focus sort of shift?
Well, obviously, since we integrated Bestday across the pandemic. That's the other thing we like to do during the pandemic. We end up acquiring business and integrating them. Our focus into Mexico has increased significantly.
Okay.
And that was actually a decision that we remain very happy about. Not only the decision, but Bestday is a great company, but that strengthens significantly our presence in Mexico. A market, as we mentioned during the pandemic, performed better than other markets. So I would say that within Latin America, obviously, Brazil has always been a key market for us, and now Mexico becomes another very relevant market for us.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about Bestday because that deal has closed, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're integrated. Not only has closed.
For a minute, it was like postponed for a bit. So
absolutely.
Getting
deals done during the pandemic.
Now. Okay.
Yeah, we are fully integrated. We operate as a single company in the areas in which we would like to operate as a single company. That means all the back processes, customer service, and other stuff. And we remain with two different value propositions to the consumer to remain competitive with the two different brands in the market. We were very quick. We had a very deliberate strategy to move quickly into integration. As I said, we did that through the pandemic, which, as you can presume, is very hard because getting people on the ground in Mexico and having Mexicans coming to Uruguay, to Argentina, where our core staff is to make things happen, not easy, but the teams did a wonderful job. We're very proud of, and all the business of Bestday, except for the DMCA, are currently operating on a single platform with Despegar.
Okay, great.
Less than a year.
So where else do you see opportunities for growth? Do you anticipate more acquisitions, or how are you sort of looking at that?
As we always say, we balance permanently how we invest our resources, and we invest our resources growing organically and inorganically also. So obviously, we've been very disciplined about how much are we willing to pay, and we believe we've done very interesting transactions, and we haven't done crazy things. On the other hand, Bestday not only help us to strengthen our footprint in Mexico, but they brings to the table businesses that we can further grow, like DMC, like Hotel which is going to strengthen our B2B proposal. Those are avenues of growth beyond the geographic scope that we will certainly invest on during 2022.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit more generally about how, how has marketing and distribution trends sort of shifted among online travel agencies generally in the pandemic? What's changed and what are you seeing?
I sense that there are some common themes across travel during the pandemic. We all became much wiser on how we use our marketing dollars.
Yeah, it's gotta watch that spend, that's for sure.
Exactly, trying to make not so many people reach on the search side of the business, but rather on the travel side. And we are very happy on how our organic non-paid traffic evolved.
Okay.
We are at record heights of the percentage of our revenues and bookings that come from our organic traffic. That's something that is paying off, and we're extracting much more value of our 20-year presence in Latin America, and we're more than 40 million customer base. So we are starting to use that with refined algorithms, and it's paying off handsomely. In addition, we reach 50% transactions on mobile, which is significant for us, mostly on our app. Again, another way not only to improve the customer experience, but a way to be more efficient about customer acquisition. So if you ask me, those are lessons learned, perhaps under the pressure of a pandemic, that will certainly stay, not only within Despegar, but within the industry as a whole.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and then I wanted to talk a bit about the funding you got. How does that process work? Because you are a publicly traded company. So can you talk me through a little bit of that funding process?
Yeah, we are very lucky that we entered the pandemic with a very strong balance sheet. I remember a lot of conversations with investors claiming that we had too much cash and that we should do a lot of things other than buying companies with that. So we were lucky in that sense. But we wanted that to remain a strength of the company. So within I think it was July or August, we bring in some additional capital in the form not only of debt, but of equity. The reactions of the market were extremely positive, and we are very happy with the partners we brought on board. So today, exiting from a crisis with no presence like the pandemic, we are exiting that situation with, again, a very distinctive and strong balance sheet.
Yeah, great. So last time we talked to you, I think it was like December, and you'd mentioned that Despegar was operating like a startup. What does that mean exactly? And are you still operating like a startup? What do you mean by that?
It's very interesting because that's one of the many good side products of going through this crisis. If you ask me, we took advantage, as British said, never let a crisis go to waste. And we really took advantage of this pandemic in several ways. One is we took a lot of hard decisions up front, very tough decisions. We reduced significantly our staff, our cost base early on. I would say it was May when we took very hard decisions. And that forced, because the cuts were so severe that we couldn't operate under the same structure. We simplified the structure significantly. We asked a lot of people to do more things that they've been doing. We streamlined the organization significantly. And the side effect of that was not only a lot of long working hours, but we ended up with a much leaner organization and with the spirit of the startup.
That's where you're getting this, right?
To many people in the organization. Moreover, if you ask me, we had the organizational health survey, the organizational climate survey results a week or two ago, and we reached all-time highs, having gone through this crisis. So not only I think we exit this crisis, if we can claim, fingers crossed, that we're exiting this stronger, but with a team that is more committed and leaner
than
when we enter.
Got it. So what else is on tap for 2022? Where are your priorities?
Priorities are going to be growth.
Yep.
Growth and more growth. Avenues, as I said, is geography, is some of the verticals that we can now leverage Bestday on. And obviously, we will be looking for further consolidations through inorganic growth.
Great. All right, Damian, we are at time, but thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Jill, always a pleasure being here.
Thanks so much.